don't want peace. I want problems always.
Exactly. That is what Miguna wants.
If I was in President Ruto's position, I think I would have done better than him as of now.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, Miguna is back, and this is evidence from an interview that I stumbled upon where Miguna was hosted, and in this interview, Miguna seems to have picked a fight with William Samoei Ruto, going by the statements or going by his words or his response during the said interview. In this interview, ladies and gentlemen, Miguna has chosen to carry this bull by the horn. Miguna sent some very shocking statements to William Samoei Ruto, even going to an extent of declaring that he can do better than Ruto. I want us to go to this explosive interview because I have so many points that are picked from this interview regarding this alleged bombshell on William Samoei Ruto.
And I can tell you that if I was in President Ruto's position, I think I would have done better than him as of now.
But before you do that, please like this video, subscribe to our channel if you're not subscribed before, and to existing subscribers, thank you so much for giving this channel an opportunity to grow, because without you, this channel cannot grow. The bottom line of this interview, ladies and gentlemen, is what Miguna said, that he can do better than Ruto. So what could be the reasons why Miguna think that he can do better than Ruto? Miguna went to an extent of pointing out some of the failures of William Samoei Ruto. One of the points that Miguna picked here during this interview is that he has noticed that the government is composed of Kikuyus and Kalenjins. That is something that he kept on emphasizing on. The second thing that Miguna has pointed out in this interview is that there is a need for equity to exist amongst Kenyans. So to start us with, I will take you to this clip by Miguna.
That they promised the country is that they were going to audit the Uhuru government, and they were going to have an independent judicial inquiry. All the bad things that Uhuru had done in the previous administration, right? Where is it? It doesn't take 2 years to set up a judicial inquiry, right? So that's number one.
Do the manifesto.
Like the judicial inquiry, okay? Of state capture, for example.
Yeah.
Do it. Some of the things that came up just before Uhuru went was the Pandora's box, the scandal involving his family.
Pandora's papers.
Pandora's papers,
Yeah, Pandora papers.
Regarding the amount of money
stashed
that's
abroad.
stashed abroad.
Yeah.
Okay? Appoint only qualified Kenyans. Qualified Kenyans from all ethnic groups and the two gender, male and female. Balance things. There is too many Kikuyus. There are too many Kikuyus and Kalenjins in this government, in cabinet, in principal secretary's position, in chairman of leading or chairpersons of leading corporations, and CEOs. That needs to be said. Enough of that. We are tired of it. You need to bring equity to the country. Let all parts of the country feel like they are part of Kenya. Let the taxpayers' money be invested in all parts of Kenya. That's very important.
Yeah.
Stop destroying people's homes if you have no alternative places to take them. Have places to take them, then I support the eradication of slums, personally. I think we shouldn't have slums. So when the president says, at the end of my presidency, there will be no slums, I say hooray, but I need to see a concrete plan towards that.
Where you
It
move
should
the
not be
people
just
to-
talking.
Yeah.
It tells William Ruto to stop destroying people's home if he does not have an alternative. Especially this is in line with the remarks of Raila Amolo Odinga on Friday, when Raila talked about the same thing. He told William Ruto to refrain from, destroying homes if he doesn't have an alternative. And honestly, this has seen the government go to an extent of promising those people who are affected by the floods, I think, a 3-month rent. That is what I heard in the news yesterday. So I want us to get deeper into these statements, ladies and gentlemen, because too many Kikuyus and Kalenjins in this government. You see, most of these points that Miguna has highlighted in this interview, by the way, are in line with what Raila Amolo Odinga kept fighting for. Miguna is literally trying to echo Raila Amolo Odinga's statement, the things that he used to tell William Samoei Ruto. Most likely, these are the things that forced Raila Amolo Odinga to make that statement over the weekend. I think it was on a 3rd of May 2024. That was the date that Raila Amolo Odinga released that statement that did not sit well with the people of UDA. So most of these points that Miguna pointed out in that interview, ladies and gentlemen, border around the fact that there is need for justice to prevail. When he talks about equity to Kenyans, this is also a statement that Raila Amolo Odinga talked about last year when I think it was a certain event in Siaya County, and Raila had decided to hit at William Ruto, reminding him that because he's collecting taxes to so many other people, all Kenyans, there is need for equity in terms of distribution of resources, in terms of project allocations. And even went to an extent of saying that if William Ruto will not abide by that, then people should withhold their taxes. So this is something that William Ruto was warned about. So
maendeleo itakuja hapa, wapende wasipende. Kama mmekataa kufanya, naweza kuambia nyinyi msipitoe ushuru.
Miguna has literally echoed that part. Then there's this point. He talks about stop destroying people's homes if you don't have places to take them, alternative places. Mukuru kwa Njenga, I think it was one of those places which was affected by this demolition, the government's demolition of houses. So I think that is why Raila had to make that impromptu tour of that place and release a very, very explosive statement that got the people of UDA talking. On to another point here. It talks about bringing a concrete plan and not just talking. This is also another part that most politicians have been blaming William Samoei Ruto over, that he is always talking and doing little when it comes to implementation, little when it comes to plans. So that most of these rallies he tours are always just to talk. He talks and talks and talks and does very little. So this is what Miguna has also pointed out in this interview. Then there's the issue of stop extrajudicial killings. I think he was trying to refer to the blames that were leveled on Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta previously. And when William Samoei Ruto during inauguration, when he was giving his statement, he said this is not going to happen. So Miguna has noticed that it is still happening. Though we as Kenyans, we can't confirm those points, whether it's happening or not happening. But that's what Miguna has realized, that that's a point that is affecting most Kenyans. So to him, he thinks that this is something that is going on. Then he talks about allowing demonstrations. This is the last point I managed to pick from Miguna's points. Allow demonstrations to go on. I don't know how this is, affecting Kenyans right now. I don't know whether Kenyans are ready for demonstrations, but Miguna talks about allowing demonstrations. But if you look at the doctors have been demonstrating, but the police allowed them to demonstrate. The government has not been interfering with these demonstrations, though we know that the first time the doctors tried demonstrations, there was tear gas. But then later on, there has never been any interference with these demonstrations. But I know Miguna is referring to what happened last year, Raila Amolo Odinga's demonstrations. It's not the doctors' demonstrations. We know that if Raila Amolo Odinga is to call for any demonstrations here in Kenya, it is going to be chaotic, not because it was meant to be chaotic, but it's because the police will interfere. So Miguna realizes that if the police will interfere, then the police will be acting on orders from above. So because that is going to be the point, that would mean that the government will not be allowing demonstrations to go on. So personally, those are some of the key points that I picked from Miguna's attack on William Samoei Ruto. Because the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, here is that Miguna says that he does not support Ruto's re-election if these things are not abided by. We all know that Miguna supported William Ruto. And because there was voting in the diaspora, Miguna could have voted for William Samoei Ruto. I mean, that is what we expect. In fact, he said so. So, in this latest attack from Miguna, we are seeing a different Miguna, akin to a Miguna that we saw in 2017 there. You know, that is the time there was that mock inauguration, the swearing in of Raila Amolo Odinga, and you know the subsequent events that saw Miguna exiled, or rather, we can say deported. We can just use the best word to use here is deported. Though throughout the interview, he was saying that he was not deported, but that's what we experienced, despite the fact that courts did not okay that move. It was a government's plan, and Miguna was deported. I mean, that's the right word to use, because that is what was being used by the media. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you make of these explosive remarks from the general himself? Because going by this, we can comfortably say that the general is back. Miguna is back, and this time round he has picked a fight with William Ruto and a host of other politicians. There is going to be another analysis, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do another analysis still on Miguna's attacks. Of course, this interview was lengthy, almost 2.5 hours, and I watched the whole interview. There are so many other points, key points that I picked from that interview. So we're going to share an analysis, ladies and gentlemen. So perhaps if you're watching this video and you have not commented, just go below there, comment on what you think about Miguna explosive remarks. So perhaps if you're watching this video and you have not subscribed, please take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. So until we catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.